We are about to start our week 5 video lab, or sheep brain dissection. First things first, we're going to point out the 4 different lobes of the cerebrum. So first we have the frontal lobe, which is just going to be right up front here. Right behind that, we're going to have the parietal lobe. Towards the back, we're going to have our occipital lobe around here. And if you turn it to the side, you can see you'll have the temporal lobes. Oops, sorry about that. Temporal lobes. Next, we're going to show or demonstrate the difference between a gyrus and the sulcus, or gyri and sulci. Let's see if I can focus. The gyrus is going to be any of the raised portions, and the sulcus is going to be any of the indentations. So any of like the grooves are going to be the sulcus, any of the raised portions are going to be the gyrus. Next, we're going to show the longitudinal fissure, which is just this main fissure going down the center of the brain, essentially splitting it in half. After that, we have the lateral sulcus, which is going to come here and come back. Oops. Next, we're going to be demonstrating a few structures of the brain, moving from the front of the brain towards the rear. The first pin we have is pointing to the olfactory bulb. Right here on the other side of the brain, that's pointing to the olfactory tract. Let's lift this up so we can start getting a better view of the structures. There's a lot of pins in here. There we go. So this pin here, that's pointing to the optic nerve. Right behind it, right here, that's the optic chiasm. Moving back, right here, we have the hypophyses. Moving back to the next pin, we have our our cerebral pedicle. Moving back here, we have the pons, the medulla oblongata, and all the way in the down here off to the side, or even better, let's flip the brain around. Right here, we have our cerebellum. Next, we're going to be going over a few of the nerves that are visible in the brain. Just to reiterate, up front here we have our optic nerve. A little bit farther back here we have our ocular motor nerve. This might be a little bit difficult to see. Up here, the pin's actually kind of lifting the nerve up. Let's see if we can... There, on that side. We have the trochlear nerve. Moving a little bit farther back, right here, let's see, to this pin. We have our trigeminal nerve, and back here we have the abducens nerve. So next we're going to go on and point out the superior left and right caliculi and the left and right inferior caliculi. Unfortunately, since I butchered my specimen while separating into the left and right hemispheres, it's going to be easier to demonstrate it like this. So first off is this pin right there. That's pointing to the right superior caliculi, just opposite to it on the left hemisphere of the brain, you would have the left superior caliculi. This bottom pin, this one, this pin is pointing to the inferior caliculi, and this pin is pointing to the pineal body. To wrap up this video lecture, we're going to be going over some of the different structures that can be seen from a sagittal section of the brain. Now we're going to be moving front to back on this. So this first pin up front is just pointing to the cerebrum. The cerebrum will cover the rest of the this area of the brain, but so the cerebrum. Next pin we're going to look at right here. That's going to be pointing to the corpus callosum. That's going to moving like that. Your next pin right here is the lateral ventricle. That's pointing on the inside, that gap. The next pin is going to be the fornix right here. And right next to that is the thalamus. The next pin you're going to see is this one that's coming in at an angle. That's pointing to the pineal body. Let's see. This pin, next pin, that's going to be the cerebral pedicle. Now this pin, so this pin is pointing in here. That's just pointing to the general area of the corpora quadrigemina. Moving a little bit further back down here, this pin is going to be pointing at the fourth ventricle. Moving on to the next pin, this is going to be pointing to the cerebellum. It's also pointing to the arbor vitae, which is the tree of life. And it's called that because of the white matter that is visible in a branch formation. Thus it got the name the tree of life. This next pin, well, first, here, why don't we take a look, see if we can, you see that branched white matter there. Next pin is going to be pointing to the pons. And last, we have the medulla oblongata. And that's going to wrap up the video lab for the sheep brain dissection.